poetry with our favorite poet, Robert William Service. Thanks for watching this video. I'm going to have an informal talk about Robert Service poetry. I'm going to share with you some insights with this book, which is a brand new anthology of Robert Service I've just published this year. We can say that we might be always saying the same things about who was called, nicknamed the Bard of the Yukon and the Canadian Kipling. But the more I've been making research about Robert Service, analyze his poem, translate his poems in French, I've made some interesting discovery and have a bit enlarged my view about what he has written, what has been driving his writing through his life. In this anthology you have, I would say, a broad view about what he has written. Some poems from his childhood, his vagabond years, and then later writings. And you can feel how he has been changing a bit of views. He has evolved and acquired maturity for his poem. But the main things we can, I would say about him is that these poems are always a source of wisdom, a source of solace, inspiration. This book is starting with an analysis of Robert Service, which I've entitled Life Penned into Poetry, because it's what he has done through his life. He has been penning his experience into poems. Yes, poetize his environment, his meeting, the place where he lived, what he has been feeling, experiencing towards many different situations. And I think it was really important to start with an explanation about who were his masters, how, as a writer more than a century ago, where he has been finding his inspiration. And what I've discovered is that reading was in fact his main source of inspiration, his drive to seek for adventure, to travel. He has been feeding his own vocabulary thanks to all the poems he has been written, all the authors he has discovered, and it's something you can find easily in some of his poems. You have, for instance, bookshelf, and he's listing all the authors who are in his own library, and you can see he was enjoying George Borrow, he was enjoying Thoreau, but his sources of inspiration, you have Stevenson, of course. And there's many through his life and later life. He has been nicknamed also the people's poet, something you can find in many interviews or press articles. The people poets. What does it mean? In fact, it's really a great wording to describe what he was. He was writing and composing poems for you, for me, for the people around him. He was writing something very close to everyday life, to the concerns of everyday life of the people, of next door, of your neighbor, of your best friend. And it is also why he has been so successful, because people, while reading Robert Service, they were recognizing themselves easily. And of course, when you read something and you feel deeply touched and you think, wow, he's writing something I'm experiencing, I'm feeling, it's wonderful for you. So that's why he has been so popular through his life. And also some poems are really depicting and this idea of the people poet, because he wrote some poems such as The Tramps, The Damned, and really poems about persons who were looking for themselves in life, who were searching, who were vagabond, who were looking to find a sense in their life. How also why he has been nicknamed people poets is because he has been writing about small anecdotes of everyday life and taking inspiration on his family, on simple things happening. In many poems you can make easily a link between some historical events which happened to his wife, to him, to his children, to his sister-in-law. It's easy, you can find it in The Sisters. It's really the example about inspiration from family events. It's two sisters who are grieving just in front of a grave. One of them has lost a child, a baby, and she is crying for this child, and she's joined with her sisters who is also crying, but she's crying because she has never been had the luck to be a mother. And it's his wife, him, who lost a child as a baby, and his sister-in-law who never had a baby because her husband died during the First World War before founding a family. So this could have happened to many persons. That's why it's so touching and kind of universal. I think they are still a bit hungry. Hey, hey, Rita. Oh, boy. Some idea about Robert Service. There is also something I've been sharing in this book. It concerns all the poetic symbols evolving around Robert Service. His imaginary world has a variety of symbols, inspiration, but you can find things which are very recurrent through all his writing. You have all the symbolic around the moon, the night, the stars. The moon for poets, their god. They are inspired by all the mystery around the moon, the full moon, the lights during night. All this is completely it's a fantastic moment for them, for their writing, and they always been ecstatic about all what is around the moon. And you can find, I would say, a dozen of poems of Robert Service speaking about the moon. You have Moon Song, Moon Lover, all this about the night. And as night, nature is something very important for Robert Service. Nature, the trees, the flowers, the cats. It's something that he wanted to give to give a voice. And I would say that nature is kind of its own character. It's often depicted a bit like a lady. It's often a woman, like the Yukon territory in all the Yukon poems. It's a woman in the law of the Yukon. It's clearly said that it's a queen, and there she's waiting for the man who is going to win her heart and to love her and to make the territory blossom. It's a character of its own. You have men of the High North, speaking about all those pioneers who is trying to conquer the High North land. The spell of the Yukon also. And all this are symbols, and also utopia, which are described because, and for the Yukon, of course, gold is what all the pioneers are looking for. But in the spell of the Yukon, you realize at the end that it's not only gold that matters. It's something else, something more important, something which is not tangible. They are looking for this broad land, this fantastic nature, and their all fulfillment. It's not what they are really seeking for which is important. It's the journey there who is going to be so fulfilling for them. As I said, Robert Service was a kind of animist, in fact, because he was making trees speaking, birds, cats. You have also, of course, Robin Rapture, it's a bird which is almost speaking and having a dialogue with the narrator. You have Dark Pine, fallen leaves, and they are questioning all those where we are in fall and the leaves are falling, and some are asking why I would be the first one to fall, why I would be the last one to fall. So it's really something. Of course, Goodbye Little Cabin. The cabin is a bit like his lover for Robert Service, and he's feeling guilty to leave her behind, but he needs to continue his road and to continue to write. Now you have also other thematics such as more philosophical things, like in The Wanderer, relativity, and all is cosmic meditation about our place on Earth, why we are here, what are we looking for, what is the reason behind things, why Earth is turning, and making all often a kind of parallel with our life and a theater play. I think we have all our roles, we have our entrance, our exits, and through life we are playing many parts. This is clearly a reference with Shakespeare. So, and in all his poems you can feel also Robert Service culture, literary culture. So this is what I think Robert Service is so interesting to read today, and is not at all outdated. Some of his poems are so accurate, you feel it could fit with today's situation. All what he's saying about ecological concerns, it's exactly the same we are facing today. So I really think Robert Service, it shows how Robert Service is a great poet, because he's lasting through the time, through centuries, and I'm pretty sure in a century, in 1 century more, people will enjoy as much Robert Service as we are today, and I really hope they will continue to find inspiration in his poems. Thank you for having watching this Let's Talk About Poetry with Robert Service, a new episode. I hope it will give you some insight and perhaps you want to discover more. In this book you have poems not often printed. Of course you have all the one about the Yukon, but you have others written more at the end of his life. They are beautiful. The Christmas tree, it's such a tale, it's such a moving tale. You should really read it at Christmas time for children, the passing of the year. It's more of his younger writings. It's really interesting. I see here cages. It's not a poem we are very familiar with. It's really so well written and interesting. See, the book is fully illustrated with handmade drawing by myself. It's all the graphic designs. You have even some music, which is completely new. It was not in the first anthology of Robert Service I published like 4 years ago. Graphic design all by myself. I put all my creativity, all my skills in his book. I really hope you would be interested in and will be looking to know more about it. Thanks a lot. Thanks to our little friend. They have been cooling down here, Gipsa. So I think they deserve a little reward. Ah? Oh. Here. Yep. Here. They are the kind of the wild ones. Aha. They're not easy to catch, but they like poetry.